a self-empowered woman. I want to chit chat a little bit about how we don't get lost in the I'm enough or in the I'm worthy or in the self doubt. So, self doubt. Let's talk about self doubt. First of all, I'm a 5D mystic in the Enlightenment Soul Age group and a functional adult woo woo pseudoscience lady because of respecting academics, but also I bring human, spiritual, and spirituality elements, subject matters together. You can ask questions, I will answer, but here it is food for thought and personal development, self help is the focus. Our relationships are the focus, and I get to share with you how easy it is to be yourself with your emotional and mental awareness. Okay, mindset is everything. Now, the people who are healing trauma, they have the extra support. I'm also attachment trauma informed, so I know people can come to those of us who are mentors and consultants and content creators for their help, but that therapists are important, the good ones. There's the good ones and the bad ones, meaning the ones who know updated attachment trauma information, like all of my courses, and the ones who deny it, or the ones who are basically what I'm going to call mantles of mental health. And like we have mantles of yoga. The 5D mystic, we have clairs. We know they're not superhero powers. The 4D are on Elsa's journey, okay? And I integrate it all. So again, ask questions, but allow me to also let you know we have Ask Maria, paid subscription based model content. It's columnist, opinionated type content like Dear Abby, because this is how I'm treating our lovely content. Then we have inner growth mindset courses. And I don't really like to always introduce myself. So that's 2 minutes in. Let's get to the topic. A little bit of intro just so you know your host. And solo polyamory community, come on over. It's really nice when you're a poly secure person. And let me begin. So I am a person who has a twin and a mother who raised me with secure attachment. Having a twin is what I'm going to say determined me to share that lovely human being, the secure attachment mother. So my first 3 years of life, most beautiful, and it continued that way emotionally. So my implicit memory, you have implicit memory, so do I. Okay, so giggly is always, not just sometimes. And the people who don't believe that those of us who smile are happy, or the ones who talk to you about toxic positivity, toxic negativity, I know of all of those people having had what I'm going to talk about, not too much, but that I'm going to try and find my notes. Here it is. They will have had some type of trauma, trust break, attachment wound, whatever it is, something that they have not healed because they're not their full inner child yet. And some people think that all of us need therapists. And while I am for sure aware that people can use a therapist, one, they have to get a good one. Two, no, not everybody needs one because some of us are self aware and self reflective. And we know when our emotions come up how to process because we witness them. And we use the inner growth mindset. We don't do inner critic. We use words that are in equanimity because that means I know how to say, wow, Maria, you had a day. How was that day? Well, it was interesting. And I get to process those 6 basic human emotions, which then also translate into more than just those 6, but we have 6 basic physiologically speaking from what I've gathered. And again, I'm not the expert. It's why I'm the pseudoscience lady, because those human elements are all the humanities, social sciences, neuroscience, all of that. Spiritualism, metaphysics. I'm a Reiki master. I'm also a holistic life coach. I'm working on my hypnotherapy certificate. So I have so many things in the box going, but what's most important to me is to support people on a day-to-day basis. And we will have a calendar at some point for our lovely episodes because I also have lovely books in mind. So, unconditionally loving with flaws and imperfections, for example, you have flaws, so do I. It's not because of comparing, it's because I can accept that I'm imperfectly perfect for me, and I'm imperfectly imperfect, but perfect also for you because we can dialogue. Okay, so we don't have rejection wound, abandonment wound, injustice wound, betrayal, or shame wounds. Or if there are those for any of those who join us, they are taking care of them. And so they are knowing that they get to be in relationships with people, not tell you how to be, but talk. Talking means I share with you how I'm feeling and I share with you what I'm thinking. And I don't tell you what words to use. You don't tell me what words to use. And then we can decide if we're enjoying each other's company or not. Okay, so for polyamory, again, it's not challenging when we get teased or called names by people out there. If you're an empowered person, any empowered human being is not an ego sensitive person. That's my translation of empowerment. Because if you want to tell me you're empowered, but I can't talk to you about any and every topic, you're not empowered. In my book, your emotional window of welcome is nowhere to be found. You're not even self aware to the point that your cognitive dissonance takes over, and I need to just shut up because now you're angry and your certainty circuit is on and you think you're right. And in the meantime, I know I got a 3-year-old broken heart in front of me with a 16-year-old who's leading the show. And well, I'm a 4'9" person. So I'm done talking because I'm not in my sympathetic, but you are. And I don't want to get pummeled just because we're having a social moment time, Okay, so again, yeah, empowered women, we don't surrender to the universe. The mystics, that just sounds like another way to not deal with uncertainty with the right mode. And that would be that 0 1 year old. So I see my 0 1 year old. I soothe my 0 1 year old. That's why when I have panic attacks, I'm okay. I'm safe here and I'm secure to be Maria. Okay, so compersion is easy for me, and that's where those primal attachment panics didn't have any of them with my twin flames. But there were emotions definitely that are comparable to what I read about in Poly Secure. Okay, so we're going to engage with some just random storytelling as breakups take place. A person, such as what I'm sharing with you, doesn't lose a sense of self. No, what we understand is our unique sense of self is not unique. It's just not compatible with you, and maybe not compatible with you, and maybe not compatible with you. You didn't chip away at my confidence. No, no, you didn't chip away at my worth. So when people would say to me that I let my teenage boyfriend get away, this was a certain amount of years after this whole 4 year long term relationship. I thought we were going to get married. And when we didn't, month in our breakup, I'm like, wow, this was the best gift ever. The grown ups lied. I love equally him, her, the same, and all. What's changed is our relationship, basically the bond. So some people, they talk about people's bonds, and so platonic, and not him, just in general. I love when people want to tell you what type of relationship you have. You didn't ask them, but people, we share. So there's another thing you get to learn as you're an empowered woman is that people will tell you how you feel, how you think, if you've been traumatized, not traumatized. They love to get into anything that is not theirs. I mean, it's hilarious. So I have a good time when people are talking to me because I don't take any of it personally because you're giving me a mask to who you see me to be. Why would I interrupt you, 3 year old? I'm not going to interrupt you. I don't have to share my 3 year old story. In fact, I won't because you told me all of who I am, right? As I'm trying, it's humorous. It's humorous to say the least, I swear. I have so much fun with people. And I love that they can't tell the difference because they're not in the integrated brain. They don't care to see the person in front of them. So when a person just has this going on, they're not really there to chit chat with you. They're just there to chit chat because they want that self bridled expression, the maladaptive child behavior. See me, I want, I want, I want. So you have to say, aw, and see, I'm a divine feminine. I'm like, yeah, come on over, I'll nurture you. Okay, so that's how it works. One, we are always going to be very welcoming of people in general, unless you have a physically threatening situation. Then I'm going to be like, no, I need to get out of here. But other than that, you learn how to handle any type of behavior because really, it can't get that bad. I'm trying to think. Nope. Nope. No. Yeah. So I've learned how to love more. And I have to say, with that oversoul, they really do a shit show about the whole twin flame and flames. But that's because they're 4D. They're not aware of their 0 1 year old. So they don't have oneness consciousness. When you have your 0 1 year old, and that means you're a safe haven, secure base, you know one thing. I'm a choice point for you. You're a choice point. It ain't no fucking test. Don't bring in that test, man. Whenever I hear somebody, it was a test of faith. I passed the test. I'm like, yeah, okay. You want a shiny star? It's like this is the mantle. That's the mantle of I passed the test, and I get it because those people they need time to notice that emotion that's going on. There's a quote, trying to remember it, from one of my lovely schools, Somatopia, Dr. Albert Wong. He has a great course coming up. I can't, unfortunately, take it this time, but I hope to at some point. So he has been sharing some content, and in one of them, there's this workbook, I think it is, and there's a quote. I don't know who it's by, but the quote is something along the lines of, as you heal from within, so you get your inner child to stop being a poor inner child without a grown up in front of you. And so when you're empowered, it's because you're in your prefrontal cortex, locked in and loaded, like I am right here. And that means you know all the emotions that come up. You're also aware of beyond the solo self. So you care about your moods. You don't want to use your moods with people. And you actually want to make more friends, not less. And you don't go around saying humans suck, men suck, women suck, those of those political, religious. You don't tell people they suck in your head, outside. You can be frustrated, but you appreciate people, all people, not just some people. This is what it's called to be humble in a whole inner child. It's I'm a human, you're a human. We're all flawed, imperfect, and different. What the hell? Okay, so here's where you'll notice the tone of people who are genuine versus the ones who are mantles. Now, what I know about mantles, and thank you, Stephen Porges, is that they will justify what's coming out of their mouths. So I have a very good knack. It's not a knack. I'm a human. I'm an embodied brain like you are. And I'm a 3-year-old that didn't get brokenhearted ever, or 1-year-old. So I know how to hear you as you speak to me the first time and you're speaking. By the time you tell me something the second time, I'm still hearing you. Like I hear myself and I try to hear me, which is why also when somebody gives me feedback about my tone, I try to notice if there's something I can do to hear me, because I want to meet others in a way that is more expansive. Okay. And I know that my 3-year-old lives within me. Trauma, again, can be minimized, not deleted. Now, while I don't have childhood trauma, I have the child charges like anybody else. So my 0 1-year-old comes with me, my 3 to 7, she comes with me too, my 11, 12, and my 14, 15, 16. The freeze is of all ages. Okay, so those child parts are here, but I'm the leader of the pack because I'm in my prefrontal. But the mannerisms come forth from my body. And here's our physical mastery, which I'm in at right now. Okay, so as a person who does Akashic record readings, I know of our mastery of these 3 planes, and it's really been fun. And so right now I'm physically mastering a lot of things. But let's get back to the point, particularly of how you don't lose worthiness. You don't lose yourself. You don't think if somebody doesn't like you that you are not enough. That doesn't ever, ever, in my 44 years of life, it's never been I'm not enough or I have to blame myself. Excuse me, just speaking those words makes me think of what is this? Or even the, oh, I forgave, so I must be special in some way. I'm making a conscious choice. I don't have to forgive anything if I don't want to. Consciously choosing means I don't do chit chatter and this. No, silence, both. I'm in my body, I'm consciously here. Let me think with breath as I'm standing still. What am I going to choose? And am I choosing it for a little star up in the heavens above? No, I'm going to do unknown, uncertainty, unwanted. I'm going to do Shiva. Let me marry no thingness. Why am I going to choose to forgive someone? Well, I have to say something. I grew up with Jesus. So I'm not an atheist. I grew up with Jesus. I would want an atheist to be here, an empowered woman atheist, to share with us what she thinks about and how she handled that one moment or many moments of that, to give her or him or they the perspective. But from my end, what I can share was not hard to say, I'm not going to choose to forgive because I'm going to get some medal. It feels right here because I'm a human, you're a human, and I'm flawed and you're flawed. So why would I not? We can all make mistakes. It's a very simple, straightforward equation how to stay humble for a person who has a whole 3-year-old heart. Okay, so it's never I'm not enough. That sounds ridiculous to even speak out from a securely attached, empowered woman's body to my lovely audience. Okay, so if somebody doesn't have worthiness in here, that's called shame. And then there's blame and fault and revenge. And that's called an inner child that wants to be welcomed back by you, not me. And that's why EMDR, child parts work, and somatics is good, because trauma memory doesn't get deleted. It can get minimized only if you work on the inner critic, the core content, shame, blame, fault, revenge, and the surface. So it's when you're with other people or doing the inner critic. So catastrophe thinking, split thinking. You hear people using a lot of words. You don't see them loving more people. You love more people. I know you're on a journey to be your inner child. So you don't think of positivity as, oh, look, toxic positivity. You're a toxic positive person. I bet you anything behind the scenes. Toxic negativity. So I know that people talk about different topics, but here's where anytime I see that word toxic, I'm like, okay, well, those people don't know how to sit within their brain and analyze positive and negative emotions and know that emotions means you're breathing and living, and know that you just got faced with something called, oh, look, life. It caught you by surprise. Did you think, 3-year old, that you would get everything you wanted? I thought you learned it like I did. Okay, so this is when you know life can give you more, never less. That relationships are a bonus, emotions are a bonus, thoughts are a bonus. Everything's a bonus. I'm breathing right now. Oh my gosh, I'm still alive. This is like an actual genuine, you're like, I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive. Okay, so that's why worthiness, being enough, any of the words that people that I see desperately out there in the world with their relationships, I never understood it as a teenager. Now I know about it as attachment and trauma. So rejection, abandonment, injustice, betrayal, shame. So people that can go and get good therapy and learn how to love themselves first, versus hear people say it's a myth and that you shouldn't be yourself. They don't know what it's like to be their self. I do. I'm my whole 3-year old right here. So when breakups happen and people have come back around, as I moved forward from my 19 years of age, as they said, I let him get away. And I'm like, nope, I didn't let anybody get away, because he wasn't on a leash. He wasn't my dog. He's not my dog. He's happy where he's at. He chose what he wanted. I didn't do anything wrong. I don't understand this equation. And then I moved through a couple more relationships. And my twin flames I don't talk about, because, the one person that I did for some time, eventually I found out they thought I had a problem. So that's when you understand that people don't even know how to tell you in your face what they think. So I just learned, as a mystic, I'm going to leave it alone. And then it's very humorous, to say the least, when people come back and say, I didn't believe you about the twin flame thing, but now that I have my own experience, and I have plenty of people that have done that, now I know what you're talking about. And that then became a whole fad, and it's like, okay, seriously, you need to get a handle of yourself. But I leave that alone. And what I'm going to get to is, as I went through life, I never said once, you're not enough, you did something wrong, you didn't know. It's always been the same. I'm who I am, and that makes me Maria. You're gonna be who you are, and you don't have to like me. In fact, you're gonna let me know if you like me or not, and I'm going to think you know how to say if you do or not in my face. But then again, if not, it's okay, because I won't take it personally when you come in and out and don't know how to speak, because I learned all about inconsistent behavior as I got older with people who didn't know and still don't know how to speak out their inner child, because they don't know about their subconscious and conscious, because they don't know themselves. But I can tell when I got a Cusco in town, because I know when I'm being seen by someone. So here's why we will know Pachas when we see them. And that's because if my inner child feels felt, it's because I'm in the presence of a person who knows how to differentiate. That means they know how to be their whole self. They also know how to open their heart and link to another human being. And it's called a me mui. Thank you, Daniel Siegel. It's a very specific feeling that any person who knows how to be their self will feel again and again and again, because I look in your eyes like you look in mine. And if you're allowing me to see you, and then you're not having any shit come up that you then project at me, let's say we talk, we're going to keep seeing more of each other, and we're going to create what is called a relationship. So, presence, attunement, resonance, and trust. And as we have part, we build an intimate relationship from the heart. My heart and your heart, my mind and your mind. And that's not because of having to be a twin flame or soulmate, by the way. In fact, twin flames and soulmates, for people that are mystics, by the way, it's not something, we have not enough time right now, but um, intuitively, we won't be doing much about it. We will be having our one-to-one relationships and talking about whatever we decide to, but we won't be thinking or feeling that we have some cross to bear, or that some people are energy vampires or dark auras. So yeah, if there's any 5D mystics, come on over, because the 4D doesn't help you to actually build what is a beautiful relationship with your oversoul. If you understand what we would talk about, so let yourselves be known if anybody is out there, because it is really most amazing the parts of your oversoul as you are choice points for each other, and as you don't pass a fucking test of anything. It's you're human, they're human. So please use words, use names, use the fact that they're human. Don't dehumanize. Dehumanizing, disconnecting, and detaching. This is everything of spiritual bypassers and the mantles of mental health and mantles of yoga. These are people who don't. I'm looking in a screen now, but I'm going to be looking at somebody. I know you're a person. Staying grounded in reality isn't hard. In fact, I have this one individual. He's a kicker. I love this man. He is on a good therapy session with a good therapist. In fact, he has shared cancel is not about, oh yeah, I get to cancel someone, I'm gonna go block you. No, that's not in any way, shape, or form what it is. Actually, he shared how tough it was for him to have to disengage because his family will not go on the therapy journey with him, and he has borderline. And so he's a very beautiful person. Again, he's a mystic, and we're talking and talking, and all of a sudden, as I'm sharing with him my journey, he's like, that's dangerous. I'm like, what are you talking about? What you're doing is dangerous. So he's trying to warn me because he thinks people are dangerous. And I'm like, people are people, right? And so he consistently insists on this, but I insist on, I get what you're saying. I thank you for your concern, but I know about attachment and trauma, and no, nobody's dangerous. If they have a weapon in their hand, then they're going to be dangerous. Otherwise, I'm going to be looking in the eyes of a person. And that human being, even if they are using their neuroplastic agent of imagination to wire themselves shut in what will be unfortunately the most torturous shame cycle ever, with an inner critic and outer critic, and then the drugging and the fucking and the drinking and all these things that movies make look cool, even if this person is going to become some human being who's unfortunately not going to be doing very well at all, they're not some piece of shit. This is a human being. It's actually sad when we see people who don't get out of what is a shame cycle, and then they end up living a life that is half a life, and they don't get the support that they could have in this time and age and era. And I have met people that they're not getting any help, and society outside doesn't do anything. They actually judge men and women. These are people that I know too, and it's sad because they don't need anyone casting a societal judgment stone. They need more educated people like me who aren't looking at them with any eyes. Of course, as a friend, there's not much you can do. So whenever I've had the opportunity, I've presented to people support, personal development, talking to them about what I learned. And you see some of them, literally their body does like this. Their body shakes the head. I've had people where I teach them about the ventral vagal and their body's like, nope. So I know what that means now. And I know that this is something that you and I can't do anything about unless that person's inner well-being is in their primary forefront, which is not. So having people who are doing good therapy but don't have compassion, that's a sad story. Having people who don't recognize that they need support because they think movies are awesome or because they think humans are fucked up, which nobody's fucked up. I mean, again, random teenage sentence is what it makes me think of. Oh, sure, let's go be, fucked up together. What are you talking about? That's not how you live life. Life is lived every day. You want to grow healthier. You want to grow more loving. You want to grow more fulfilled. You want to grow more happy. You can grow consistent, blissful emotions if you choose. The human love narrative is what we do here, not the human suffering love. But if we meet human suffering love narrative, we won't be like, you're a human suffering love narrative. No, if somebody asks me, by the way, my opinion, I'll be like, okay, now you need to tell me before I answer, do you want me to be honest and can you handle it and or not? And that's the minute of truth, which is, here's what a 3-year-old does. If you tell me that you want me to always be honest, and actually I have a person, I'll use that story. So you accept that I'm going to be honest with you all the time. I will accept to notice if you are going to take it and be offended or not. I will try to talk to you about it. But if I notice that you don't know and don't learn how to pick up your inner child, and so you're going to be taking things personally, I'm not going to be doing honesty because honesty isn't working. You're just lying about things. So really, we're not creating a bond. So there's a lot of different things we could look into, but we'll conclude with the fact that if people say yes, usually they're ready to take ownership of themselves. That doesn't mean they will do the work, but they're okay with you telling them what you think, which is already a starting point. So the people that I know that accept the direct communication and then they're open to it, they consistently might be stagnating, but they're open to building at the very least what is a true relationship. So not hiding oneself. You can appreciate that people are their true self, even if they're maladaptive child behavior, if they take ownership in some way, shape, or form, but they stay within their mannerisms. That's where in time they could, in time, get out of that. But that's besides the point. At least you know you have an authentic person, which is different from the person who wants to say, no, no, I can take anything, but then they have resentment and they're hiding. Because the minute they're hiding, you're going to notice that there's something going on because they're not comfortable. When somebody's not comfortable to be their self, it's because something's not being said. And we, an empowered woman, I don't hide my feelings. I don't hide my thoughts. If somebody asks me something, in fact, sometimes I'll find myself where I'm like, I don't want to talk about it, and instead of just lying about something or being like, no, no, it's fine, because there's no point in lying. What kind of relationship is that? So, long story short, betrayal and what else? Breaking ups and discards and any of that, which actually requires good therapists for the people who do this stuff. Yeah, it's not going to chip away at a confidence, at a I'm enough, I'm worthy, not worthy. It's just going to be okay. So, hey, guess what I am? Here's all the words that I have to use so that you can know what you're getting into. Is that good? Yeah, and we'll see as we walk a walk if you talk a talk and walk together. And the nice thing is when you meet those people, by the way. So, yeah, whether you're a 5D mystic, whether you're in the Enlightenment Soul Age group, whether you're polyamory or mono, come on over. I got plenty of great people that I know that have a buttload of fun with us polyamory, believe me. And we have a buttload of fun with them, especially when they're not opening their heart. They're like, no, I don't want to be here, but I want to have fun. And so in time, we can create a nice, safe haven, secure base for all people to be in their different steps of the journey. Those who are healing trauma seriously, because the ones who are not, they're all over the place with their herd, all of it. So long story short, welcome aboard. Thank you for tuning in. Share, like, subscribe if you want. I hope you have a wonderful day.